Hello, this is Jay again. Going into a second screencast about new innovations. And I found one on YouTube. So it's very interesting. And let's get to it. Okay, it's called Go Tina. And
I'm Daniela. 4 years ago, we started GoTenna to solve the no service problem. We set out to make it possible to use your phone even when you don't have cell reception or Wi Fi.
After a lot of hard work, we developed this device, which is the first and only way to use your smartphone to send text messages and GPS locations to others over long distances, even when you don't have any service of any kind.
Our award winning product has been enjoyed by tens of thousands and used all over the planet while adventuring outdoors, traveling abroad, attending crowded events, or even during an emergency.
Over the last year, we've been working on a next generation product. It lays the foundation for a kind of communications network that has never existed before.
And now we're finally ready to share what we've been working on and invite you to be a part of it.
Has this ever happened to you? You're traveling with friends in Birch's Garden, and everyone has a different adventure planned for the day. Ming wants to climb a mountain and take pictures. David and Anna want to find a river and enjoy the sun. And you just want to find a Rhine Heights spot by Bar. Because you don't go to Birch's Garden without trying the Rhine Heights spot. The problem is my phone has no service in Birch's Garden, and I still want to know what my friends are doing. That's why on this adventure, we each brought a GoTenna mesh. One's paired with your phone.
Now, what it is, it seems like it uses a Bluetooth device to communicate with your phone, and then it's a very powerful transmitter that connects with other antenna. It doesn't have to be your friends or it could be some other person's antenna, and then extend the range. It's sort of like a networking device that sends messages. But as long as there is somebody nearby, far away enough, yet close enough that the signals can actually reach each other. So it's sort of a cell site, but the cell site is moving, and it extends the range. So that's what antenna is. So let's go back and really explain what it is. Here we go. See, here I think this. Here we go.
GoTenna mesh units in the area. You don't even need to know the other users or do anything. It's automatic and private. So I'm able to receive a message from Ming, who's on top of a mountain, because our friends and other GoTenna mesh users act as relay points between us. Imagine using this at a music festival or on the slopes. The possibilities are endless. Unlike traditional communication networks, GoTenna mesh actually gets stronger the more users join it. We call this people-powered connectivity. One more to go, please.
It's sort of like the herd mentality, where more people uses it, it just bounces off each person. So let's say there's a lot of people in a densely crowded area in New York City. Instead of using the traditional cell size, that's cell site with the cell company, and if it's really slow, you can actually use Tenna, and it may be working that way. Now, one can say, well, you could just drop the service and then just use Tenna. Well, then you're limiting the your way to use your cell phone. You're actually you need that service as a the first as a foundation. So yeah, you can't depend on Tenna, but you can definitely depend on the cell service like Verizon and Sprint and such and such first, primary. Then if you're going out of range of that cell size, you actually have to roam, and if there is no roam service, you could use Tenna. That's what that is for. And this technology is they were explaining outside of the military. Military uses big, bulky, very powerful transmitters, whereas this technology depends on numbers. More people there are in the range and goes further out, the more powerful it becomes. That's what it was explaining there. So it doesn't it doesn't necessarily lose jobs and put employee in a displacement, but it creates jobs as long as there's numbers in people using it, and of course the battery power on it. So the benefit for individuals and to society, of course, for better communications in case of an emergency, like let's say there was a natural disaster, a hurricane, or event of war, or anything like that. In war-torn countries, that may be a possibility. Of course, the military may also use it as a last resort, like our Marines did in use the local telephone system to call up, call for help. Excuse me. So I chose this because my previous occupation was in engineering, and it was in RF and communications, and this looks interesting. But however, it doesn't really work unless you have at least two people were using it. So and more people have Tenna, then more people can communicate outside of the cell range. So let's go back and see a little more.
We're excited to launch GoTenna Mesh because it's the first mesh network of its kind, 100% off-grid, mobile, long-range, and consumer-ready.
This kind of technology has never existed outside of the military, and even then, they've been big, heavy systems that cost tens of thousands of dollars. GoTenna Mesh, however, is tiny and affordable.
GoTenna Mesh is our first product available internationally, and having completed industrial design and advanced prototyping earlier this year, we're now busy testing and setting up manufacturing and distribution so people all over the world can use our technology to stay connected to each other during fun, off-grid adventures, as well as unplanned emergency situations.
It's worth...
Okay, just like any RF, it is dependent upon line of sight, especially if it's a high frequency, around 1.6 gigahertz or higher. It depends on line of sight, and also it also depends on if there's some kind of barrier. So if there's a barrier from person to person, and then if that barrier is thick, like with lead or metal, it will not penetrate it. However, if it has a lower frequency, between 800 megahertz and lower, it can actually go around it or bounce off or through it, actually, more like through it. The RF will go through it, and then, but however, the quality of the signal goes down. The higher the frequency, more line of sight, and less penetration, but higher the quality of the information that is going through. That's why I think this is more for a texting or emergency signal type of thing. So, and also it may be limited by the the battery power. The more power it has, the better the transmission, of course. So there are several key factors. And if they do, let's say, solve these problems, limiting problems, like a lack of users or and the power and all that, limited range, it still won't replace the infrastructure. So it definitely won't help. Not in the near future. Help. It won't displace employees. Okay. So yeah, that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed it.